Hello, this is Shawnee. So, for a while now, I've been kind of thinking of maybe doing a video about how I go about my translations and typesetting and stuff for Midnight Occult Civil Servants. But I was, kind of lazy about it. And just recently, I got asked about, some tips and tricks and stuff about how to do this on your own. So I thought now would be a good time as any to make a video about it. So, yeah, these are going to be amateur uh, translation and typesetting guidelines, I suppose, or methods or whatever. And the key word here is amateur because I am very amateurish. All of this stuff is self taught and learned through trial and error and all that. So, I don't know if you happen to watch this video and think, like, oh, there's actually a much easier way to do this thing than the way she's doing it. Please let me know through like the comments or something. That'd be pretty helpful because, yeah, I'm not a professional by any means. But in any case, I thought I would make this video anyway. So, to start with, basically, you're going to need to get your hands on the raw copies of whatever you're trying to translate. And personally, I would recommend getting the digital copies if they are available for whatever you're trying to translate. Because basically, if you have the physical copies, what you're going to have to do is scan each page with a scanner and then clean it up in a photo editor so that it looks, decent. And that's, a lot of work. And to be honest, I don't even know how to do like cleaning up of pages after they've been scanned and all that. But if you have digital copies, then that work is already done for you. All you have to do is like screenshot the pages, put them in a photo editor, and then go to work. So yeah, I would recommend getting digital copies. But that being said, physical copies do have their, pros. Like, for example, sometimes in digital copies, you'll have some text that is really small and maybe handwritten or something, and it's really hard to read. I have noticed that in physical copies, those tend to be actually easier to read, easier to make out, and everything. Shoutouts to Bree for sending me pictures of the physical copies of Midnight Occult Civil Servants so that I can actually read some of the smaller text. So yeah, honestly, it is up to you. If it's easier to get the physical copies, then that's fine. You'll just have to go through the whole rigmarole of scanning it and cleaning it up. Yeah, I do the digital copy thing. So what I do is I buy my volumes on Bookwalker, and then I pretty much I got the Bookwalker app on my phone, and I just have it up and put it in like a little phone holder or whatever, and I read it and then use my laptop to translate. So, I do have, general knowledge of the Japanese language and all that, but I'm by no means fluent. So, I still use translators like DeepL and Gshow to help me out. So, might as well do a little bit of translating here just to show you how it goes. So, well, first of all, obviously, I got to switch from English to Japanese. You can add different languages on your laptop so that you can type them out. So let's see. You can't see it, but I do have the app open on my phone, so I have the volume in front of me. So let's just take the sentence by this fox here. He is saying, "Koko de migi ni, whoopsies, migi ni magarimasu. Turn right here." So DeepL is a pretty good translator, honestly. I find it works pretty well, but it is obviously not perfect. No online translator is going to be perfect. So what I do is, after it's giving me a translation, I copy it and I paste it into Gshow. And this is a Japanese to English dictionary, or vice versa. So here I can actually check each individual word, and that it just to make sure that the DeepL translation is accurate and everything. And yeah, and it does. I mean, this is a pretty simple sentence. It appears to be pretty accurate. So turn right here. Another thing about online translators is they tend to be kind of robotic, I suppose, which makes sense. So when you're doing your translating, you might want to try and put a little bit more of a natural spin on the words, I suppose. So in this case, like turn right here is fine. Um, I would probably maybe just a second here, page 1 or whatever. Let's see. I would probably do. Here we go. Something like we're turning right here. Why is it so big? There we go. And this is how I do my translations, by the way. I just have a Word doc open and I do it like a script, basically. So yeah. And I basically just do that for the whole chapter. I put it into DeepL, I put it into Gshow to check DeepL, and also whatever language you're translating, there should be dictionaries online to help you with that. I mean, you could probably find a Chinese to English dictionary on here, or a Korean to English dictionary, stuff like that. So I would recommend finding those. The reason why I have like 3 DeepLs and 3 Gshows is because sometimes you're going to want to like translate ahead a little bit, because the thing is, these guys in the manga, they take a long time to say something sometimes. They can just take forever to get to a point. And if you want to understand, the whole point better, sometimes it's best to translate ahead a little bit, and then you'll understand the whole a little more, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I might start the translation here and then continue it into this one, and then all together they'll start to make sense. And I also have Google Translate open. I wouldn't really recommend this for your for your main translator, because it's too literal, I find. But sometimes when I'm really stuck on a translation, I'll just pop it into Google Translate, kind of like a second opinion type of thing. Sometimes a literal translation does actually help a little bit. And I also have this, I found this, the Jada Network. It's pretty much helps me with sound effects translations. So like in one of these pages, there's a sound effect that's like glee or something like that. And it's just like, oh, that's grab or yank or pull or whatever. I'm not sure if these are available for other languages. They probably are. I mean, the internet's a big place. So if you look up, I don't know, Korean sound effects or something in comics, or, you might get something like this, I would guess. Or Chinese or whatever language you are translating. And I also have a thesaurus app because it's pretty handy when you're writing. So yeah, that's basically the translation part of it. I just translate every sentence and put it in here. Once I am done a whole chapter, that's when the typesetting starts. So what I do is on my phone, like I said, I have the app up, and what I do is I take a screenshot of every page, and then I send it to my laptop, and I save it as a PNG, and once and I save it to a folder. Then I have them all, organized here. So I save all the PNGs for a chapter in my pictures. And so I have them all here for whatever chapter this is, 48, I think. And once I have all of them here, I use Photopea, or Photopea, I don't actually know how to pronounce it. And this is a free photo editor. It's like Photoshop, basically. You can find it in your browser, or you can download it and have it on your desktop. And yeah, this is what I use. So this is the second page in chapter 48. So let's go up to that. Right. So what I can do is I can just copy the translation, and when they're in the speech bubbles, it's real easy. You can just, do the little eyedropper or whatever to get the right shade of white, and then take the marker and just erase the words. And then take your text box, and Um, Photopea has a lot of different fonts. You can go through them, pick which one you like. Um, I have a bunch of them bookmarked here. You can also load your own font too if you want. I've never done that before, so I don't know how that works. But um, yeah, I have a bunch of different ones I have bookmarked that I use for different things. The one that I use for just plain old text is ASAP condensed. It's really nice because like the condensed part of it means it's like obviously condensed, so it's easier to fit into the bubbles sometimes. And also, it has a bunch of different, um, versions or whatever. You can have italic, medium italic, semi bold italic. It's crazy. They have a bunch of different things, which is kind of nice. Um, for ASAP condensed, I always go 28. It kind of depends on the fonts. Like for example, Allen, I use sometimes. It's a bit smaller of a font, so I have to probably I go for 30, I think, with Allen, and it's different for every font. So you gotta kind of just pick and choose, do trial and error, see what looks good. And also, how big and how small you want it will depend on the size of the bubble as well. If the text looks a little too small for the bubble, just size it up a bit, and vice versa. So 28 is what I usually go with. So put it in here. Oh yeah. Also, you want it centered. Um, so you want it to kind of be a bit oval shaped. Is basically how I do it. Um, yeah. If you wanted to, you could go a little more horizontal with it, like maybe something like that. Oops. Then that looks fine. You could do that. But you don't want to go too vertical with it because that just looks weird. Yeah. I mean, it looks alright, but yeah, I would recommend trying to go as oval shaped as you can. So yeah, that's pretty good, I would say. So you get it all centered, and there you go. You've done a speech bubble. Um, Also, let me just erase this right here. Whoopsies. Oh yeah, you want to open your layers as well. So you can close this. You got your layers right here. You could open that up. When you're erasing stuff, you always want to be on the background layer, not the text layer. So let's just erase that real quick. There we go. So if you want to, you can also free transform a bunch. So spin it around. If you hold Control and kind of move these guys a bit, you can do some sort of 3D stuff as well. So let's see if we can fit it in here. It's gonna look a bit squished, but hey, here we go. Looks a little wonky, but that's basically how you do kind of 3D-ish free transform. So yeah, you can do a bunch of different stuff. So also, if sometimes bubbles, right? They're too small to fit the words that you need to fit in there. Don't be afraid to go out of the borders a little bit if you have to. And if you do that, what you're gonna want to do, first of all, is you can double click on the text layer here on the right side, and you can do all these different things with it. I would recommend just going through them and testing them out, see what each one does, and all of that. If you want a border around the words, which is something you'll probably be doing pretty often, that is stroke. For some reason, the default color is red. So you can double click on stroke again and change that color to white. You can also change the size of the color, I suppose, of the stroke. And if you press define new, it'll actually save it in this little box here. So you can experiment with all these different sizes. Right, so if you, here, wait, let's put this like over this here or something. And then you've got all these different sizes of stroke. There we go. So let's go with this middle one. So that even if you have it on top of a background, you can still make it out if it's outlined like that. And if you have to go over the border here, you can do that. So there we go. And that's all well and good. if all your text is in bubbles, which they're not always going to be, unfortunately. So let's see. For stuff like this, where it's like over an actual background, you're going to want to try and erase the words without disturbing the background too much. So what I like to do is I go to the patch tool, and you just, I'll zoom in a bit more. Okay, so you just do a little circle around what you want gone, and then you can hold it and kind of move it around so that the background kind of lines up. So if I just put it down here or something, there, it's gone. The thing is, sometimes, see, if I go through some kanji or whatever, hiragana, it does not work as well because the black will kind of bleed into the background here. So to avoid stuff like that, you can use the eraser tool. Just do that, and then it doesn't really matter if you intersect. It looks fine. So yeah, that is that's something you can do. Here, let's get rid of this completely. There we go. Looks alright. A little bit wonky, but it's fine. So yeah, and also, a little hot tip. When you're, I don't know, you're erasing stuff. Let's erase this a little bit. And say you want to hide this this big white part here that I kind of left behind. You can honestly just cover up these parts with like the words that you're gonna put there. Like, don't try and make it perfect if you can't. Like don't worry about it, because the words that you're gonna put there are gonna cover it up anyway. I can't remember what he says here. I think he says like, do you guys wanna go out to eat? Or something. And you can put your stroke on it. Yeah, make it a bit smaller probably. And there you go. Cover up your shame here. Whoopsies. See, nobody will even notice this. Bam. So yeah, that is something you can do. And also another option, if you want, is you can cut out a little place here and then copy it and paste it. It'll become its own layer, and you can move it around, and you can just stick it on top if you want. That's also an option. So yeah, also, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could literally just put the words on top of the text. I don't think anyone would really care. So yeah, there's that. And these backgrounds that I just demonstrated here are pretty simple. You are going to come across some pretty complicated backgrounds, and they can be a real pain in the ass. And my advice for that is literally just practice. Practice makes perfect. You do it enough times, and you'll get a bit better at it. So, yep, that's basically how I do it. Once, you know what? Also, I don't know if other people have this problem, but when I screenshot pictures on my phone, I get these white borders sometimes, so I try and get rid of those when I can with the crop tool. Yeah. So, yeah, once you have a page all translated and ready to go, then you can export it as PNG. Translate, yeah, okay. Line 13, chapter 48, or whatever. Save it, and there you go. You got your translated page. If I had actually translated this, it would be a translated page. So, yeah. I think that's basically it. Once you've done that for your whole chapter, you can just take the whole thing, upload it wherever you want. I like to upload it to Mangadex and Bato and Imgur. So, yeah. I think that's all I have to say. I hope I'm not forgetting anything, but that's basically how you do it. I got, the translating through DeepL, NG Show and Google Translate sometimes if I feel like it. And typesetting through Photopea. Yep, I think that covers it. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave a comment or message me on Tumblr or Twitter. I'll have my Tumblr and Twitter in the description, I think. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I'm probably forgetting something, I don't know, but that's all I have to say for now, so I'll see you some other time.